This episode of the animation meme tier list will be a bit different. Not only will this be the first episode where I downgrade an animator, but I will also explain to you why by showing the rise, fall, and decay of Wolfychu's animations. Now, if you're a fan of Wolfychu, that's totally fine. I mean, I considered her a pretty good animator, which is why I put her in A tier initially. However, considering the lazy shite she posts nowadays, I feel like I'm kinda justified in putting her down on the list. The rise. The rise of Wolfychu's escapades in animation was an interesting time. This was the time when she was developing her style, and while these videos weren't bad in any means, they just all looked slightly off. As if Wolfychu was still figuring things out, and she was at the time. Let's dissect her Mostem meme as an example. The art style isn't established at this point, like I said earlier. It's a simplistic meme, her hands are also a bit inconsistent, but overall, still a pretty decent meme to me. Now, as an example of the peak of her content, I'd like to show you her Losing My Mind meme. The art style got better, the frames are way more consistent, the movement is more lively. Also, I want you to look at this walk cycle and just remember it. That's all you have to do, okay? Just look at this walk cycle and keep it in your mind, okay? The fall. Her I am the man meme is where the sliding quality begins. The movements look really stiff because the momentum gets cut off immediately. Look at her tail, for example. It just stops swaying like it's some kind of robot. Her crossed leg position looks pretty weird too. But trust me, this is nothing compared to what I'm about to show you now. The decay. Okay, remember that walk cycle I showed you earlier? I really liked it, by the way. Well, here's what her walk cycles look like right now. I'm sorry, like, I know I'm in no position to criticize this because my walk cycles look like this, for God's sake. But this is atrocious. How can you make a walk cycle that has a little strut to perfectly convey character, that looks smooth and has the tail swaying, it has momentum and everything, and then it just let it devolve into this garbage? Like, why? How? And that's even when she bothers to make a walk cycle at all. You know, in other scenes she has just their characters hopping around like they're a fucking Leafy is Here character. And that's not even the worst of it. Like, this whole knife throwing scene looks like utter shit because everything about it is not right. Okay, the knife wouldn't fly out of her hand like that considering the way she threw it. The side of the long countertop should be way in front of Suido, but then it's suddenly in the background behind him. The knife pierced his shoulder according to its position and the wideness of the blade, but Suido is fine. None of it makes sense. Everything she makes now just feels rushed and frankly without passion. I can clearly hear the passion in her songs because she sings her own songs now, which is clearly where all of the effort goes. The animation part is just being neglected. The animation just needs to be done as fast as possible, which results in boring, stiff, repetitive, broken messes with more still frames than anything else. That's just the one thing that's worse than a bad animation is a boring animation, because that's the whole point of the medium in the first place. Animation is supposed to make things exciting. That's why it exists. That's why people bother making it over filming something in live action. Now, I must be fair and say sometimes there's still a glimmer of her old glory in there. Like, I love this scene. This scene is nice, but the whole video is shit. I'm sorry, it's just shit. Even all of the C tier animators figured out that animation needs moving images to be interesting. Even they put more effort in the 10 seconds of their work than Wolfychu puts in a whole video. So where does Wolfychu belong on this list? Well, C tier would be an obvious place, but like, it comes across as a bit drastic to me. Her recent work doesn't even come close to some of the stuff I've seen in C tier, and it kind of pains me to say that because I put her in A tier at first. But what are your thoughts on Wolfychu? Am I too harsh for putting her in C tier? Does she deserve to be higher on the list, considering the things she makes now? Do you know any other animators that you'd like me to review? Leave your suggestions in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and now kindly fuck off.